How's it going, everyone? My name is Mulder and welcome to our Desperados 3 Gameplay Tips and Tricks Part 3 video. In this Desperados 3 Gameplay Tips and Tricks video, we will cover new skills with the newest character to join the group, Isabelle. We will also talk about some great character skill combos to pull off requested by you, the viewers. And finally, I'll take you step by step through the 3 starting missions in Chapter 2. Baton Rouge, Mississippi River, and New Orleans. All that and more straight ahead. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for a lot more. Keep in mind there will be some minor spoilers ahead, and be sure to check out the Mulder GameChron channel when you have the chance. Without further ado, let's take a dive into our Desperados 3 Gameplay Tips and Tricks Part 3.
You know, in my time, the first thing a father taught his son was how to fire a Colt.
You bastard.
Let's kick things off with Baton Rouge. In Baton Rouge, your characters will wake up after a long night of drinking and partying, in which case they will have no weapons on hand. The only way for you to take on enemies on this map is either with knockouts or with environmental hazards. You'll start things off with Hector, in which case you will then find John and O'Hara pretty soon in the same area. The one trick is you need to find Doc. John will only have his coin, O'Hara will only have her knockout perfume, and Hector will have a rake which can knock out enemies but will not kill them. Your best bet is to tie enemies up and hide them in bushes as best you can. You will find Doc located in the bank, but before you can get to Doc, try to find O'Hara's disguise. The best way to conquer this area is to use the muddy footprints to your advantage. Enemies, when spot these footprints, will follow them no matter where they go. This is the best way to take enemies away from their areas that they patrol and get them around a corner, to which case you can then knock them out, tie them up, and hide their bodies somewhere. This is also an excellent chance to talk about character skills combos. For example, as you can see here, I'm trying to get O'Hara her first disguise. Now, because we have no weapons on hand to kill anybody, the best way to tackle this area to get Kate O'Hara her disguise is to have Kate O'Hara take out the civilian that's watching the clothing, while Hector and John take out the 2 enemies that are watching the area. Use Showdown to time Hector and John's knockout attacks simultaneously, but more importantly, use O'Hara's knockout perfume to be activated at the same time. Have O'Hara be the one to take down the civilian guarding the dress. Do have John and Hector have their secondary plan moves to move their guys into bushes and drop them off the moment you get the dress for O'Hara. Once O'Hara gets her disguise, it is smooth sailing getting to Doc. The best way to get to Doc is going through the construction site behind the bank. There will be plenty of guards around this area, but thanks to O'Hara now having her disguise, she can easily drag enemies away or keep them distracted while your other 2 characters knock them out. Send Hector and John up to the tower to knock out the guard. It is a female guard, so O'Hara won't be able to distract her at all. Have O'Hara distract any guards that are looking towards that general direction where the sniper is, that way Hector can take her out or John without any problems. Once all the enemies in the construction site are taken care of, now you can make your way into the bank. There is one long coat guarding the back of the bank, but because you're coming through the back door, this is a perfect opportunity to use Hector to take him down. You're going to want to time your attack perfectly. There's also one guard who will be walking back and forth at the front of the bank as well. He's the only one that can spot you taking down the long coat. As you can see here, I timed my attack just right to where when the guard in the front of the bank turned and walked towards the back of the safe, that's when I took down the long coat. Simply tie him up, do not carry him, drop him onto the floor, and keep down. Don't worry if you're unable to tie him up in time before the guard comes back. So long as he is knocked out, he will be unconscious for a little while before he gets back up. Once the long coat is taken down, have Kate O'Hara distract the rest of the guards for you and make your way to get Doc out of danger. Once the whole crew is together, you're going to have to go through the barnyard on the far left hand side of the map where you see all the cattle to get out of this map. I recommend that you set John on top of the roof to get the drop on enemies while Kate O'Hara distracts some of the guards. Hector will be your best bet to take out the one long coat that's in this area. Once all the enemies in the barnyard are taken care of, make your way to the dock. There will be 2 long coats guarding around the boat that you need to get on. This is where your muddy footprints will come in handy. Use your muddy footprints to alarm the long coats. This will break off from their patrol and they'll actually split up looking for you. This is your opportunity to take them down one at a time with Hector. Use your muddy footprints from Hector to break apart these long coats and take them down one at a time, and O'Hara to take out any snipers long range that might be watching the action. Once all the enemies in the dock area are taken care of, grab Doc, grab the rest of your crew, jump on board the boat, and you're done with the mission.
All aboard!
Now let's move on to mission 2, which is the Mississippi River. This is the mission where you'll finally unlock Isabelle, the final crew member of your group. Isabelle has 4 unique abilities. The first is that she can use poison darts to where she can connect 2 enemies together, in which case if you kill one, the other one will die as well. Or if you knock him out, the other character will be knocked out as well. This leads to excellent combos for you to take out multiple enemies at once. The next ability I'm going to talk about is her cat. Now her cat can distract enemies, but in all honesty, I didn't really use the cat that much. The only enemies that tend to fall for this cat are normal soldiers, and they don't stay around with the cat very long. The cat is a good distraction for a quick moment if you need to sneak from one bush to the other, but I wouldn't rely on the cat too much. The next skill that she has is mind control. Mind control is excellent for taking out heavy crew members without having to worry about any of your guys getting caught in the action. An enemy mind control can do anything from simply just shooting an enemy in the back for you, activating an environmental hazard, or if you need an enemy just simply taken out without any noise, simply mind control that enemy, walk them to its safe distance where you have an ally waiting, unleash your control for them, in which case they'll be knocked out, kill them, hide their body, and then you're done. The fourth and final ability is the ability for her to heal herself. This is good because when you use mind control, it will cost a little bit of Isabella's health in order to activate it. But once you're done with the mind control ability, simply heal herself and she's ready to go. She can kill any enemy just as fast as John Cooper and can carry them away just as quickly. In the Mississippi River mission, you're gonna have to start with Isabella by herself. Then you're gonna have to rescue John and then the other characters that are locked away in cages. To get John Cooper out of the spill that he's in which case there's a minigun and a group of enemies shooting at him on a boat, simply mind control one of the enemies, have him walk all the way over to the minigun, grab control of the minigun, and just take out the entire enemy crew in the area, including the enemies that come out of the alarm room. Isabella will soon become one of your favorite characters to use from. I'll even put her above Hector in this category. Once you've rescued John, the next is to move on to get Doc. Doc will be hiding in the basement of one of the houses near the water. There is an enemy long coat inside the house, but if you take out all the enemies outside the house, don't worry about taking out the long coat. Another good combo to use here is to have Isabella connect two enemies together, have Isabella kill the enemy that's connected, while also John Cooper uses his knife to take out an enemy that's watching the action. So far I've discovered that John, Isabella, and Doc work best together in these type of combos. Simply having Isabella connect two enemies together while John takes out another, and then Doc taking out his sniper pistol to take out any long-range enemies, this all works great, especially when you activate it all together at the same time using Showdown. Really try to craft your strategy around using Doc for taking out long-range enemies while comboing Isabella's connection spell or mind control ability with John Cooper. As you can see here, this worked great for me in these tight situations. Once you've rescued Doc, now is the time to get Hector and O'Hara out of danger. This one might be a little bit more tricky, so you may want to work your way on the far left side of the map or go up the mountain to take out enemies that are watching the whole action from above. There are two enemy long coats in the area that are patrolling, but that's when your connection spell is going to come in handy. I recommend that when anytime you have a long coat in the area, have him connected to a weaker enemy. When you connect a weak enemy to a long coat, simply killing that weak enemy will actually automatically damage the long coat without having to fire a single shot. Once you do this, have either John Cooper, Hector, or Isabella or any one of your characters run over and finish him off aside from O'Hara and just kill him, drag his body, hide it, and you're done. Another great thing to keep in mind about this mission is that if you get Doc out of the house first, you won't need to get the keys to unlock the cages for Hector or O'Hara. Doc can simply lockpick them himself. Just make sure all the enemies around those cages are taken out before you move him in to do it. Once you've taken out the enemy long coats and freed Hector, now it's finally to get O'Hara. O'Hara will be guarded by normal enemies and one sniper on top of a watchtower. Use Isabella's connection spell around the enemies that are walking around the watchtower, or connect the sniper on top of the watchtower to one of the guards down below, in which case use John Cooper's knife to where you can kill the enemy on the ground or the guy on the watchtower to knock out both at the same time. You can mind control the sniper up top of the roof off and take out the enemies for you, but keep in mind that will sound the alarm once you start dropping some enemies. Another thing to bear in mind is that any enemy that you mind control and use the gun on while there's another enemy watching, you won't be able to get a shot off in time before the alarm is sound. And enemies in the area will drop the guy you have under control before he can fire a shot if he's spotted. So use good judgment when you mind control an enemy surrounded by tons of his allies. It only takes one to spot him before your plan goes up in the air. Take out the rest of the enemies in the area, such as Hector using his bear trap on an area where an enemy is going to walk right across, get snapped by the bear trap, and before you know it, you're done with this mission. Because I mentioned earlier that you want to go up to the far left of the map, up in the hills, to take out all the enemies before you move on to free Hector or O'Hara, it's a good thing that you did because you're going to have to go through that area again to finish off the rest of this mission. And that's it. Once you've freed everyone and secured the area where the horses are, you're officially done with the Mississippi River mission.
So what's your plan right now?
New Orleans.
Well, guess we're headed the same way then.
Then why don't you join us? I would love the company.
Sure, why not?
Now it's time for the next and final mission of this video, which is New Orleans. On this mission, you will have Doc, O'Hara, and Isabella as your team. Now the point of this mission is that you need to locate 3 key enemies in the area and steal a letter from them in order to move on to the next part of this mission. Now I'm not quite sure if it's different every time you play this mission, but the guy that I needed to get the letter from was the guy in the Red Light District, aka the Red Lantern Club. Each 3 of these enemies have different code names. One is called the Jackal, one called the Spider, and the other one I believe is called the Hawk. The Spider, which is the guy in the Red Lantern area, is the one who had the letter on my mission. First and foremost at the beginning of this mission, have O'Hara get her disguise. Simply having Isabella and O'Hara go up there, take out the 2 guards that are watching the area, then take out the saloon girl, and you'll have O'Hara's disguise in no time. This is actually a pretty easy mission to get through. The same rooftop that you use to get O'Hara her disguise is where you're going to want to put Doc up there as well, along with Isabella. Because the Red Lantern District was the place I needed to go, this was a key area to use Doc for sniping purposes. Now there are a couple ways you can conquer this one part of the mission. The first and easiest way to actually do this is to simply mind control the main key character that's walking around with the letter. Simply thin out the enemies that are watching on top of rooftops and the balconies. A good character combo here is to use O'Hara to distract a guard that's watching the balconies, have Isabella on the rooftop connect 2 enemies that are watching the rooftops, and have Doc take aim and take out the enemy that's watching alone on one of the balconies. Have Kate knock out the guards that are connected, in which case both get knocked out simultaneously, timing your attack with Doc's sniper pistol shot. Then have Isabella jump down and kill the remaining enemies or tie them up, depending upon how you want to go. If you struggle in this area of a guard watching you from the bottom floors before seeing what's happening on the rooftop, simply send Isabella down to the ground floor, have her hide in the grass near one of the park benches, and mind control one of the enemies that's watching the balconies. Because they're mind controlled, they're not going to be able to sound the alarm at all, so now you can use Doc and O'Hara to take their time taking out the enemies on the balconies. Once the enemies are taken care of, have O'Hara pickpocket the main guy with the letter, or have Isabella mind control him, walk him out to a safe distance or on top of the rooftop, and have Doc finish him off. Any character taking down the main guy will take the letter and move on to the next part of the mission. I got this part of the mission done in under 20 minutes, which given how long some of these missions can be, that's pretty quick. Once you get the letter, that's not the end of the mission yet. Now you're gonna have to make your way down to the warehouse district. The warehouse district will be heavily patrolled by guards. The best way to get around this is to have Doc go through some of the buildings and reach to the top of the rooftops. There will be some guards watching the rooftops, but only during the very start of this mission. Simply have Kate O'Hara distract any guards that are looking in the general direction of where Doc's gonna set himself up, in which case Doc can then knock out any guards that are up there or just simply kill them and get them out of the way. The majority of the chests you'll find on the rooftops are simply for Doc, so feel free to use as much sniper ammunition as you want. Really try to time your shots carefully in this area. There are plenty of guards with long views of sight, so any wrong move, the alarm will sound and you're gonna have a real tough fight on your hands. The best combo to use is have Kate O'Hara distract any guards or lure them away with some extra little love, and then have either Doc or Isabella wait for them to knock them out, have Isabella use her connection spell to knock out multiple enemies simultaneously, or have Doc knock them out and kill them from long range with a sniper pistol. And you'll be able to make your way through this area very quickly. From what I can remember, there are only 2 long coats in this entire area. The first one will be patrolling in an area where if you use an environmental hazard, you can actually crush them under a bunch of crates. This is a prime opportunity to use Isabella's connection spell to connect the long coat to any weak enemy nearby, that way you knock out 2 enemies with 1 attack. Have Doc McCoy take out the sharpshooter that will spot Kate O'Hara dropping the container on top of the long coat. This is the only time the enemy is really going to try and spot you if you don't take him out quickly. Now, using this tactic will sound the alarm, but luckily though, since enemies in this area will be dropping dead pretty quickly anyway thanks to Isabella's connection spell or mind control and also Doc's sharpshooting technique, you're not have to worry about these enemy reinforcements for too long. When you get to the final key area to where you then have to sneak into the office, simply go around the main building to where you can get on the rooftop and jump off in the back of the roof to get in the back of the area. There will be 1 enemy sharpshooter watching the alleyway and where your team will have to come from, but use Doc McCoy to take him out and it'll be smooth sailing from there. Oh, and don't forget to use Kate O'Hara to distract the guard that's watching the street before your team can cross. Once your team crosses, gets to the rooftop, and Doc McCoy reloads his pistol, you'll be ready to take out the rest of the enemies pretty easily. Simply use the connection spell on the long coat that's patrolling the area towards the weak enemy, finish him off, and allow Isabella to kill him. It's really easy to get through this part of the area if you come up from the roof. There will also be an environmental hazard where all you gotta do is send Kate O'Hara, push the boxes down, and it will crush the enemies in the area. Or better yet, have Kate O'Hara distract the guard watching the boxes and have Isabella push the boxes down, and no one's gonna notice. No alarm sound, no nothing. Simply keep using Kate O'Hara to distract and Isabella to connection spells and mind control, with Doc taking out enemies from a distance with a sniper pistol, and you'll be able to get through this in no time. Once you take on the last bit of enemies and make your way into the back office, you're ready to move on to the next mission, in which case we'll be covering in our next Desperados 3 gameplay tips and tricks, so be sure to stick around for that one. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed our Desperados 3 tips and tricks video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for a lot more. We do tons of gameplay tips and tricks videos on your favorite games such as Maneater, Bleeding Edge, Doom, Dragon Age Inquisition, The Witcher 3, you name it, along with brand new games that are coming out for the remainder of this year. So be sure to stick around. Until then, I'll see you next time.
So what do we have?
Something about a shipment. Looks like they brought Wayne out of the city to the Queen's Nest.
What's that?
Old place in the bayou. Oh, this can't be good.
So we're done here?
McCoy.
Nah, he's right. I got what I need. Time we head back.